If you guys think this is what a man can give you, I'm sorry, this is something I can give myself. Is that product worth the money you're selling it at? Don't make excuses. You just didn't want to go. Because if you really wanted to go so bad, you would have made sure to go. Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alexis, and if you're new here, please subscribe. And if you're not new here and you still haven't subscribed, why? Please subscribe, leave a comment, tell me in the comments what more content you'd love to see from me. I know I've been MIA, like I don't even have a reason why. At first I was so busy, I wanted a new phone, I got a phone. And then I started saying, okay, now I need a camera because I can't keep using my phone. And then I was like, okay, I need an iPad. But now I can't get those things right now because now I want to furnish my apartment. But who knows? I might even decide to get them next week if I make hard, complicated financial decisions. I asked you guys to ask me any questions on Snapchat and on Instagram, and let's get into those questions quickly because my phone is about to black out. Outside of procrastinating, I was saying, okay, now the only excuse I have is my phone has no battery, but still I'm going to make this video. How did I become a content creator? First of all, I was a business owner. Before selling lip glosses, I was a makeup artist. After being a makeup artist, I sold some jewelry. As I was doing all that, honestly, for me, I just wanted money for capital to start Evolve Beauty. I didn't even realize I didn't need so much money to start Evolve Beauty until I started it. While I'm doing my business, doing content, literally begging influencers to promote for me, I realized, how about I do this myself? Because honestly, I wasn't as social as I am right now. I was so introverted. I still am introverted, but back then it was so bad. And I thought, you know what, how about I start creating this content? Maybe if I post about my business on my personal page, people would buy, because I used to get very high engagement until I realized, oh, I had more men following me than women. So when I started niching down my content to content that women actually love, the men reduced, and now I have more women engaging with my content. Later on, I started growing my community. I would do vlogs here and there on TikTok until a brand reached out to me. I made my first money from content was 200,000. For me, that was a lot at the time. And then I realized, oh, okay, so I can actually get paid. And also I was watching a lot of those international influencers like Monet, Grace Mondlane. Actually, no, I started watching Grace later on, but I was watching a lot of Monet. Was like my favorite influencer, and I saw how she was growing, how she was being paid, and I thought, I want to be her so bad. That is how content creation started out for me. And I can tell you right now, it has really funded a lot of my lifestyle. Literally, if it wasn't for content creation, I don't think I would be where I am right now. So I needed to be a content creator. I needed more sources of income. And I believe building a community online has really helped a lot. I have monetized my knowledge to the T. The next question was how I'm able to balance being a content creator and a business owner. Honestly, every time people ask me this question, I don't know what to say because I don't think I know how. But literally recently, I realized why I actually am able to balance. The fact that I spend so much time taking care of myself is enough for me to be able to balance these things. And also, I was listening to a podcast earlier, and this lady was talking about there's no need to balance if the things you do are the things you actually love. If you love your job, there's no need to balance. Like, I love what I do. I create content from the things I do every single day. If I'm making a smoothie, I'll be like, oh my God, let me get my camera and create this. This looks good. People need to see this. So it's basically me doing things I do on a daily, but then post about them and get paid and maybe get some engagement, things like that. So it's basically, if you love something that you do, if you love your job, it ceases to be about balance, and it's your lifestyle. It's like waking up every single day to take a shower, to do your morning routine, to go take a walk. That's exactly what it is for me. I love my business down, like I love what I do, so it does not feel like work to me. So I think that's why it's easy for me to balance. Okay, the next question is how I started taking self-care very seriously. I have shared about this. I don't know, I don't like this question because it reminds me of the time I was really in depression. I don't like it. I was actually thinking about it this morning, how I used to cry about every single thing. Even when my rent was due, I would cry because why do I have to pay for this rent? Can't I just sleep here for free? Like every single thing used to make me cry. I just hated living at some point. But I'm not in that place anymore. And I think it's because I found reasons to love my life. And honestly, self-care ceases to be something you can do. For me, it's a lifestyle. This is something we all should be doing. Like it's like waking up and washing your face every morning. That's exactly how self-care should be. I started because I was in a place I didn't like. And when you're in a place like that, nothing is okay. Not your finances, not your family, not your relationships, nothing. Everything is at stake. Once I worked on my self-esteem, fell in love with myself, everything started to make sense. I think I'll make a video about that because right now, honestly, like my mind is a lot. And also because my battery is low, I'm literally just going through everything. How did I convince my parents to let me move out of their house? I had started my business and it was really doing well. Mostly during COVID, I really like sold a lot of products and they saw how it was really growing so fast. Of course, I think my dad wasn't really in support. I think because it was my money that I was going to use, it was me asking him, oh, help me pay for rent. I don't think he would have allowed because you have a bed and food on your table. You don't pay rent. Why are you leaving? But because I was using my own money, I didn't even tell him, but I told my mom and she was in support. My mom has been supportive all my life. So I knew I could tell her and she told me, okay, whenever you're ready, support you. And yeah, like it wasn't dramatic. When I told my dad, he's like, okay, who's going to pay the rent? I'm like, me. And yeah, it was cool. Okay, you guys asked a lot of business advice, how I'm able to create content for my business, how I'm able to make sales. There are two people who told me they are not making any sales. Is it because of the price? I don't think price has ever been a problem, but value. Is that product worth the money you're selling it at? So if you think people are not buying because of the price, maybe it's because the product doesn't match that price. But if you start feeling that self-doubt in the products you sell, then maybe it's something you need to sit down and think about and reconsider. Put yourself in the client's shoes. If I were a client, would I buy a lip gloss of 35,000? Maybe not, but is that lip gloss worth, if you use that product, would you be like, oh my god, it's worth the money? If you think it's not worth the money, then maybe you need to reduce the price, or maybe you need to improve the quality of the product. I don't know if that makes sense. So feminine, so soft. I was receiving a lot of those questions. I used to think being soft and feminine comes from the way you talk. Of course, it comes from how you carry yourself, but you can still have a husky, big voice and still be feminine. I don't think it's even about how soft you talk. Maybe you could tone it down if you're always shouting. Ask yourself, why am I always shouting? Why am I always yelling? You could turn it down. I recently saw a video. I have been sharing this video with everyone around me. This lady was saying the only way to be feminine is have your finances in check. Because every single thing you need to do to be feminine requires money. If you think having your nails done all the time it will make you feminine, do you know that that might require about 100 to like 150,000? You need to do your hair all the time because you're not going to look feminine if your hair is not done. How much do you need? I don't know, but you need money. You need to do your lashes, you need money. You need to have your skin done, your lips done, whatever. An outfit, it all requires money. But I always make sure to budget every single month to invest in how I look. When I look good, I feel good. I feel like you are the most confident person if you actually look good. You realize the times you feel less confident are those days when your hair maybe is getting old, your skin has pimples, your outfit is not put together, Every single time you feel like that, you are definitely something is always okay. Most of you are asking me the content you want. Will you be posting cooking vlogs? Will you show us the apartment tour? Will you things like that? Yeah. So many people were asking me mostly on Snapchat how I'm able to afford an apartment. Someone even asked me, it was in Luganda, something about where I get men to fund my life. And it was so funny because if I actually had a man funding my life, you guys, because I've had this a lot, like I've never even been offended. But I'm like, if I actually had a man, you guys, I'm still sleeping on the floor. I don't have furniture in the house. I don't even have a TV. Like, I think if I had a man funding my life, I don't think I would even be sleeping in this apartment. I think I would be in a 3 bedroom or 2 bedroom. Like, my life would be completely different. I don't want to settle with someone who cannot fund my life to the fullest. So if you guys think this is what a man can give you, I'm sorry, this is something I can give myself. Like, this is the bare minimum. I don't even want to say more about this, but I'm already shocked. Like, so you guys think like every girl with like an apartment of like I don't know how much, there's a man doing that for them. If a woman buys a car, there's a man. Like people actually do save. And for you, if you've just seen Alexis today, it doesn't invalidate all the years of hard work and saving and sacrifice so that I can actually give myself every single thing I love. But if ever there's a man, oh my God, no one wouldn't want to say this. My man did this for me. You know, it's just an apartment. If I had bought a house or built a house. Okay, someone asked me what's the best advice I've ever received, and I think this is the best question. And it has been to stop worrying. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about this in context of the Bible and God. And this person said, prayer without faith is just noise. I don't know if that makes sense. If you're praying, you're still worried that, oh my God, you're crying, I won't be able to pay my tuition this year, and you're crying, you're worried about it, or rent, whatever, or start a business. If it's something that is very scary and you're praying about it, but you're praying about it with no faith, you think it's impossible to even ever happen. It's like just shouting, and your prayer is not even reaching God because God doesn't associate with worry. The thing is, the more you worry, the more He extends, like He pushes away, and then the devil keeps coming in. I've realized that every time I worried, it affected me more. Like I'm already having, like let's assume you're failing to pay tuition or you cannot afford rent this year. I don't know what your problem could be that is causing you to worry. God forbid you have a sick person and maybe you're wondering, where am I going to get money to pay for them? The thing is, when you worry, does that change the situation? It doesn't. But if you just get up with so much strength and actually be strong for this sick person, encourage them, we are going to get the money. I'm honestly that kind of person. Like I'm always positive, and this is something I've had to practice over the years because I realized worry didn't take me anywhere. It actually pushed me backwards. Sometimes it's just like that is the only option for you. You don't even want to not worry. You just want to worry. If you realize that worry doesn't even make anything better, it actually makes it worse. But if you don't worry, if anything is going wrong right now and you feel like everything is going wrong, the only thing that can keep you in a better mindset is for you to not worry, to actually have a very optimistic, positive mind. You will be shocked at how things will be attracted to you. Money will just come to you. Your destiny helpers will just come to you. Even on days when Evil Beauty is getting very low sales, you will never catch me worrying. The one thing about worrying, you are showing a lot of ungratefulness. Because the thing is, it's so easy. This is something I've even talked about with like people around me. Like right now, you're crying, you're not getting sales, but you've forgotten the days you were not actually making the sales. You expected the sales to just keep going and going and going. No, there are bad days because there are also those days when you're not as consistent as you should be. So if you realize the sales are low, ask yourself, have I been pushing as much as I was pushing last time? No. So why do I expect the sales to be high? And then when they are low, I'm now sad and depressed and I'm worried instead of now getting back to the book and start planning for more content and creating more content to actually get more sales the next time. And for me, even when the sales are low, honestly, for some reason, I'm hoping next that means next week they're going to be high. Well, I go into my books and realize, so Mondays are always low, and then Fridays are always high. Okay, so how do we make sure we actually make Monday look like Friday? Like for me, it's never about, oh my God, why don't we have enough sales? No, no. But I used to be a very like a crybaby. The people who know me from the past, they know. But right now, I can count. This year, I think I've cried once. For me, the best advice I've ever received was to not worry, and I have realized it's changed my entire life. I'm always attracting good things because I stopped being negative. I'm always positive. My mindset is always thinking bigger than the bad things happening right now. Whatever you're going through right now, trust me, your blessing is going to be tripled. Amen. That's what keeps me motivated. Not every day I'm motivated. Actually, 90% of the time I'm not motivated. But I always say this even in the group that I created, the 30 Days Hotter Challenge for self-care and sip girlies. And I keep telling them, most of the time you won't be motivated, but you must stay disciplined. So I don't think I am motivated. I think I'm very disciplined. I'm one of those people, when I say I want to do something, I will never do it. If I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. It doesn't matter in how long. I always do everything I put my mind to. And I believe we can all do whatever we put our minds to. We just don't want. We just make excuses. Even when I make an excuse, well, let's say not going to the gym, I tell myself, Alexis, you don't make excuses. You just didn't want to go. Because if you really wanted to go so bad, you would have made sure to go. So like this YouTube video, I could have kept procrastinating because this is not the first time I've done a Q&A. I never actually shot the video. I just didn't want to. I didn't want that bad. If you want something so bad, you make sure you get it. You do it. So maybe you need to think about it in a way of you need discipline, not motivation. Stop making excuses. When you don't do things, you come up with excuses. They are just excuses. It's not even about when you did them. It's about, did you actually do them? If you were supposed to go to the gym this morning at 7 and you weren't able to get there at 7, did you finally go before the day ended? No. Did you actually take a walk or move your body? Nothing. You just didn't want to. You don't want a nice body that bad. When you finally want a nice body that bad, you will go to the gym. So for me, that's what I live by. Yeah, I feel like we don't have double lives. Like you don't have another life after, I don't know anyway. But if we do, well, if we actually, this is the only life you're living and you don't want to live it to the fullest. And that can mean many things. It could mean you wasting your life in the name of YOLO, or actually living a life you desire.